Hey everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records. It is time for our weekly check into some of the new releases coming soon to an independent record store near you. Just a quick check this week as we are fast approaching the holidays. The shipping and or the selection is a little dicey this time of year, so we're going to cover some of the highlights of the upcoming week's releases. Now, I do want to issue a quick note to those of you in our local viewing area, the local customers of Radio Wasteland. Some of the stuff on this may not make it in time for Christmas, so order accordingly. But this is just kind of the time of year when shipping gets a little problematic. It's delayed. There's just so much going on. And sometimes the holiday, when it falls in the middle of the week, like we have in a couple of weeks, will affect this as well. But this coming week, we should be okay, but you never know. So let us know if there's something you really need to look for. You can always head over to our website, by the way, at radiowastelandrecords.com. And from there, look for the upcoming releases. Click on that link, and you'll see the full list in PDF form of everything coming out for this specific week. But right now, though, let's dive into just a couple of new releases and some cool reissues coming up for the 20th of December, 2024. Speaking of Christmas, we do have something new from Amanda Whiting. This is called, and I'm going to get this pronunciation wrong, A Christmas Quitch, SCWTCH. Not sure exactly, but this is kind of an interesting recording. Our description says that it's expertly crafted with love, care, and dedication. A Christmas Quitch takes on an assortment of classics from the likes of Vince Guaraldi, Bill Evans, Holst, Tchaikovsky, and presents them with original arrangements by Amanda and her accomplished trio. So the end result is a 14-track selection of feel-good seasonal jazz harp music. Sounds very fun indeed. So A Christmas Quitch from Amanda Whiting. This one is a single LP, looks to be on black vinyl only. Suggested list price on that is $38. Switching gears, we've got a fun one here. This is from They Might Be Giants, and it's called Beast of Horns. Not quite what you think. The description says that Beast of Horns is a new set of tracks that captures the musical glory of They Might Be Giants, expanded in live format over the recent years. Long celebrated for their phenomenal shows, the addition now of Stan Harrison on sax, Dan Levine on trombone, and Mark Pender on trumpet takes the band to new heights on these brand new recordings. Includes audience favorites like Dr. Worm, Museum of Idiots, and Darlings of Lumberland. Now, I have seen They Might Be Giants live not too long ago, and that horn section really does add a great deal to their live shows. So, Beast of Horns on red vinyl from They Might Be Giants. This one coming in at a suggested list price of $30. Check out our podcast, by the way. I'm probably certain one of these will be opened for quality control purposes after it's released. Not familiar at all with this next group, but it sure does sound interesting. This is from Spaceheads, and the album is called Time and Spaceheads. The description is a little bit vague, but we'll get into it anyhow. It simply says that Spaceheads are the missing link between post-punk and two guys from 1980s post-punk bands making experimental, danceable live music, drawing from the influences of Afro-funk, euphoric horns and rhythms, and the Motric grooves, along with krautrock in there, as well as some spiritual cosmic jazz from the late 60s and 70s. Wow. Elements of dub, as well as electronic dance and American R&B and funk in here as well. Makes for an interesting description all the same. I found another description, by the way, that goes a little bit more in depth. It says that this release has 27 tracks from Spaceheads that date from 1990 through 2003. It's been all remastered and pressed on vinyl for the very first time in a 3 LP box set. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I'll have to look these guys up and listen online, given their large contingent of influences here. So anyway, Time and Spaceheads from Spaceheads, triple LP box set coming in at a suggested list price of $69. Onward now to a healthy set of reissues due for the 20th of December. We're starting off with something from Tom Waits. This is The Heart of Saturday Night. It's an anniversary edition coming on something called Raspberry Beret vinyl. Our description says that to celebrate the 50th anniversary of this album, we now have this limited edition 180-gram pressing, as mentioned on that colored vinyl. Tom Waits, The Heart of Saturday Night Anniversary Edition, coming in at a suggested list price of $27. Up next is a pair of reissues from the legendary John Cale. We have Fear and Helen of Troy. Fear was originally released in October of 1974, and it's an incredibly important in the 50-plus year career of John Cale. This reissue, according to our description, faithfully replicates the original 1974 Island Records UK release and is being pressed on 180-gram high-quality vinyl. Single LP black vinyl, suggested list price on that one coming in at $31. Then we have Helen of Troy. Again, this says it faithfully replicates the original 1975 Island Records UK release, pressed on this 180-gram vinyl. Helen of Troy, also single LP, 180-gram black vinyl, coming in at that suggested list price of $31 also. A trio of reissues coming up next from the post-punk band Magazine, UK post-punk, how's that? We have got Magic, Murder, and the Weather, along with Raise and Hail, and then finally Know Thyself, and Oh Thyself, by the way. Magic, Murder, and the Weather coming on pink vinyl from Magazine. This one originally released in 1981, and the suggested list price for that is $37. Then we have Raise and Hail coming on yellow vinyl. This one a little bit more expensive. Suggested list price on this is $41. It is a double LP, by the way, though, on that yellow vinyl. And then finally, Know Thyself is coming on orange vinyl. And this one followed the reformation of the band and was released in 2011 originally. So Know Thyself on single LP, orange-colored vinyl, $37 is the suggested list price for that one. How about a couple of live albums up next? Here we have something from Meat Puppets and Live in Montana. The description says that the Meat Puppets are reissuing their double LP Live in Montana for the very first time on vinyl, recorded on December 7th and 8th of 1988 at the Sundance Club in Bozeman and at the Top Hat Club in Missoula. Live in Montana is a tribute to a time when the Meat Puppets were, well, the Meat Puppets. So Live in Montana, single LP reissue from the Meat Puppets, coming in at a suggested list price of $26. Skipping forward in time, we've got another live one, this one from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and they're live at Bonnaroo in 22, coming on something called Bubblegum and Sour Grape Colored Vinyl. The description says that Live in Bonnaroo 22 captures the Melbourne psych rockers King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard at their most freewheeling and ferocious. Take that as you will. Double LP on that colored vinyl, $42 is the suggested list price for that one. Let's head over to the metal side of things with a reissue from Slaughter and their debut album, a reissue of Stick It To Ya. The description says that this reissue captures the essence of glam metal with its infectious hooks, driving riffs, and choruses that propelled this band to fame, featuring standout tracks like Up All Night, a fast-paced party anthem with sing-along choruses, and the heartfelt power ballad Fly to the Angels. So Slaughter and the reissue of Stick It To Ya looks like it's a single LP on black vinyl. This one coming in at a suggested list price of $32. We're also getting a reissue of Kalis and Kaleidoscope, this one coming on green vinyl. The description says that originally dropping in 1999, Kaleidoscope introduced Kalis' unique style, blending R&B, funk, and futuristic production from the Neptunes. So this one, very cool reissue. Kalis Kaleidoscope on green vinyl. A little pricey, though. It is a double LP, and the suggested list price on this one is $45. Double LP also reissue from John Legend and the album Get Lifted. The description for this one says you can experience John Legend's debut studio album, now pressed on vinyl. I'm pretty sure that means for the first time. So this Grammy-winning record merges the essences of soul, R&B, and hip-hop, showcasing standout songs from Legend on here as well. Double LP, black vinyl, John Legend, Get Lifted. This one coming in at a suggested list price of $42. Moving on now to a trio of Analog Production jazz reissues. These things are going to sound absolutely fantastic coming from Analog. First up, we have Art Tatum and the Tatum Group Masterpieces. Our description says that this is a historic meeting between pianist Art Tatum and tenor sax giant Ben Webster, recorded in 1956, but only first issued by Pablo Records in the 70s. So this is a cool one. The Tatum Group Masterpieces coming from Analog Productions. Art Tatum, the suggested list on this is $53. And then we have Miles Davis, also on Analog Productions, and The Birth of the Blue. The description goes back a little bit, saying that Miles Davis' Kind of Blue was the #1 jazz album in history, and it only totaled 5 songs. But there are 4 more songs from that same historic group recorded in that same time period and at the same studio. That time period, by the way, was 1958. So Birth of the Blue from Miles Davis, Analog Productions, $53. the suggested list price on this single vinyl LP on black vinyl. And then finally, we have one from John Coltrane and Milt Jackson. This is Bags and Train. Again, also from Analog Productions. The description says that vibraphonist Milt Jackson and tenor sax John Coltrane make for a surprisingly complementary team in this 1959 studio session and their only joint recording. So again, Analog Productions, but this one is a double LP, which means it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Milt Jackson and John Coltrane, Bags and Train, $74 is the suggested list price on that one. And then finally, let's toss a fun one in here. This is from the group The Rockin' Berries, and the reissue is called In Town plus bonus tracks. The description says that this is a limited edition 180-gram pressing of Birmingham Rockin' Berries' first album, originally from 1965, and pressed back then on the Pie label. It was a UK top 20 album, and it featured their number 3 hit, He's in Town. So this reissue has added 4 bonus tracks, by the way, to that original album, and they are making it available on single LP black vinyl. The Rockin' Berries In Town, plus some bonus tracks, this one coming in at a suggested list price of $39. And that is a very quick check of some of the releases headed our way for Friday, the 20th of December, 2024. If you're local and you see something you'd like us to pre-order, you can contact us here at the store. Otherwise, head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, look for the upcoming releases link. Click on that. You'll see everything that's due for the 20th. And there are a couple of other very cool things in there. Didn't want to get into them today. There's some UHQR stuff in there. Check them out if you get a chance on that full website. Otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, just kind of keep in mind that shipping this year is a little tough, so we may not get all of these in time for Christmas if you're looking for something like that, but I can promise you that we will do our best. So until next time, this is Jim from Radio Wasteland. As always, thanks a lot for being here.